After the break, a grand old River Murray station celebrates 160 years. We call in on Norwest Station near Morgan.
As the River Murray meanders its way through South Australia, it makes a radical turn south and heads to the Southern Ocean. It's on this sweeping bend, just above Morgan, that Sue and Kevin Pedder have found their little patch of river history. Norwest Bend was once a sprawling station settled by pastoralists Charles Campbell, after whom Campbelltown is named, and Philip Levi in 1850. At one time, Norwest Bend covered over 2,000 square miles, stretching all the way from upriver at Overland Corner through to Burra. But there were plenty of tough times. During the drought of the mid-1860s, 16,000 sheep died of starvation or were killed by wild dogs. Donald McLean was the real hero of Norwest Bend as he introduced fences and irrigation.
Donald McLean was an overseer and lived here on the property for a man by the name of Armitage, and he was early in Norwest Bend's history, and his interest was fencing and irrigation. And we've got an old cart note from the Bunyip paddle boat with them delivering wire to Armitage at that time when McLean was here for his fencing.
The centrepiece of Norwest Bend is the homestead, but its crisp white limewash stone walls and lush gardens are a far cry from when the Pedders purchased the place just 8 years ago.
It had lasted, you know, the 150 years pretty well, but then the last owner before us was Albert Brockmeyer, and he was here for 70 years and lived in it the whole time, and it had always been habited. And once he died, it was left empty. And in that 5-year time, it very quickly started to lose the roof, the ceilings, doors were gone. Half the house was all right, but the other half was pretty much missing.
Sue and Kevin set about not just restoring, but in some cases rebuilding the house, and much of the work they did themselves. They had to. Tradesmen wouldn't come this far. Oh, look at this. What was this then?
Well, this was, it's been 2 different things in its time that we know of, or possibly 3. It's been a maid's room, depending on who's lived here. It's been a general store when Morgan wasn't here until 1878. And so Norwest Bend Station was the town of Morgan for that time prior. And it's also been a governess's room and a schoolroom.
It houses an amazing array of items collected through the decades, from clay pipes to biscuit tins and potions, even pink pills for pale people.
This is the favourite room of the house for me. It's our sitting room. It was always the parlour. It was always the smart room of the house, and everybody who lived here put their mark on this house. We found about 13 layers of wallpaper, and the original lime mortar had never been painted. So right from Levi and Campbell's time, it was wallpapered. Well, Lisa, they couldn't have picked a better spot to build this house. Have a look while we're here. Look at the view.
It's spectacular, isn't it? Beautiful.
It's really nice.
The restoration project included the garden, which has to endure punishing conditions like 50 degrees summers and -7 in the winter.
We had to completely research what would survive the area and beg, borrow, steal and replant it.
And what's this?
Well, this is the old original tank that they put in for the irrigation, and they'd fill it from the river with horse and whim. It would overflow here, and underneath all the paving is little channels that flood irrigate out to the paddocks out the side there.
Oh wow! So what was this then?
This was the old original wool store. Originally this wooden floor was dirt, and the floor was up at that height up there, and it was a 2-storey wool store. Then Albert Brockmeyer, who was here for 70 years, his hobby was badminton. So he pulled the floor out and put it down on the ground here. And for many, many years, this was the local Morgan badminton court.
The old wool store is still regularly used for indoor bowls, table tennis and even a wedding or two. Out the back, Sue and Kevin have recreated a spectacular garden featuring more than 200 roses.
It's a picking garden, fruit garden, where the owner would come out and get your produce for that season and the flowers for that season and decorate your house.
And so how many varieties of roses do you think you have?
At least 100. I know I had to make the labels.
When they're not working on the house or garden, you'll likely find the Petters on the river, on their own unique little paddle wheeler, the Gypsy Ellen.
And you do all the driving?
Yeah, I'm the skipper and Kevin's Gilligan.
So I got all the, the mucky jobs and the ropes, and she gets the easy part.
Yeah.
Like everyone on the river, they're certainly enjoying the increased flow, courtesy of a wet winter.
The river's changed and it got weedy for a time, and now that the flows are happening, it's absolutely fantastic.
To mark its 160th anniversary, Norwest Bend is open all this week as part of the Riverland Rose Festival. The gardens are open daily from 10 till 4 until next Sunday. Entry is $5 per person. Norwest Bend Station is 9 kilometres from Morgan on the Renmark Road.
Still to come, we'll light up your life with the Rundle Lantern in the city.